The silence that fell over Kingsley's, Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant, was palpable. Conversations halted, cutlery froze, and dozens of eyes locked onto the small space between tables. 10-year-old Ethan Carter, legs trembling in metal braces, reached out to Amara Wilson, the restaurant's only black waitress. The live piano began a soft melody, and the boy's impulsive request to dance came without warning. "Sir, control your son!" Manager Reynolds' sharp voice sliced through the silence. "That's inappropriate. This is not a dance hall, and our employees are not here to entertain children." James Carter, owner of Carter Investments and one of America's wealthiest men, swallowed hard. It was the first time he'd taken Ethan out to dinner in public since the accident that partially paralyzed his legs 2 years ago. A mistake he vowed not to repeat. "Ethan, sit down," he ordered, low but firm. Amara stood motionless, her gaze shifting between the manager, the billionaire, and the boy whose hand still hung in the air. In her 5 years at Kingsley's, she'd learned to be invisible, especially to clients like Carter. "Mr. Reynolds, I'm leaving. My shift is over," she said calmly, removing her apron and placing it on the tray. Then, to everyone's astonishment, she smiled at Ethan and took his hand. "I can't dance in an apron." James stood abruptly. "What do you think you're doing?" Amara met his gaze. "I'm accepting an invitation, sir." Before anyone could intervene, Ethan took a hesitant step, his foot dragging painfully, braces screeching. Amara didn't guide or rush him. She matched his pace. "She's getting fired tomorrow," whispered a woman at a nearby table. James watched, frozen. A memory hit him. His late wife, Sarah, dancing with Ethan in their living room. "It's not about perfection," she'd said. "It's about connection." As Amara followed Ethan's clumsy steps, the boy's eyes shifted from fear to focus, shame to shy pride. For the first time since the accident, he was leading. "Mr. Carter," Manager Reynolds interrupted, "I assure you this will not happen again. She will be disciplined." James didn't respond. Ethan's smile echoed in his mind, drowning out the restaurant's tension. Employees paused, patrons watched with curiosity. Amara led Ethan back to the table after 3 steps. "Thank you for asking me to dance," she said formally, as if to an adult. "It was an honor." As she turned to leave, James stopped her. "Wait." His voice was different, almost foreign to himself. "What's your full name?" "Amara Wilson, sir." James nodded, memorizing it, and handed her a card. "My office. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. The restaurant held its breath. Amara took the card, her hand trembling slightly. "Dad," Ethan called as she walked away. "Why did you do that?" The question felt like an accusation. James saw not just the child Sarah left in his care, but a whole person whose needs he'd ignored for 2 years. Amara's glance as she left held calm determination, contrasting the storm in James's eyes. If this story of dignity and transformation is touching your heart, subscribe to follow how a simple act of respect sparks a revolution that changes lives forever. The lobby of Carter Tower gleamed with glass and marble, reflecting morning sunlight. Amara Wilson felt out of place in her best navy skirt and white blouse, bought on sale. Passers-by wore clothes costing more than her rent. "Amara Wilson to see Mr. Carter," she told the receptionist, who eyed her clinically before directing her to the 18th floor. In the elevator, Amara clutched her worn purse, fueled by quiet determination from facing worse challenges. Miss Harper, a sharp-eyed woman in her 40s, greeted her. "Mr. Carter is in a conference call. Follow me." Employees stared curiously as they walked through mirrored hallways. "He had you fired, didn't he?" Harper asked in a waiting room. "Powerful clients call, and people like you lose their jobs." "People like me?" Amara smiled, unamused. "You know what I mean," Harper said, adjusting her glasses. "Employees who don't know their place." "And where's that?" Before Harper could reply, her phone rang. "He'll see you now." James Carter's office spanned half the floor, Manhattan visible through floor-to-ceiling windows. He stood, gazing at the city like it was his. "Miss Wilson, thank you for coming," he said, pointing to a chair. The calculated silence that followed was meant to unsettle, but Amara recognized it. "Do you have a background?" James asked. "Education?" "Bachelor's in Child Development from New York University. Incomplete master's in special education," Amara replied steadily. Surprise flickered across James's face. "And you work as a waitress?" "3 jobs, actually. Restaurant, bookstore on weekends, and tutoring when I can." James picked up a folder. "I researched you, Miss Wilson. I wanted to understand who danced with my son." He opened it, revealing photos of a community center. "Rhythm of Resilience. You co-founded it 6 years ago." Amara sat straighter. "With my sister, Lila, a dance program for children with physical disabilities." "It's about to close due to lack of funding," James noted. Amara showed no surprise. "I didn't come to ask for money, Mr. Carter." "Then why are you here?" "Because you invited me." James laughed joylessly. "Fair enough." He stood, restless. "I want you to work for me." Amara blinked. "As a waitress in your house?" His face hardened. "As a therapeutic companion for Ethan. I have the best specialists, therapists, neurologists, psychologists. But what you did yesterday—" He paused, pained. "It was just a dance," Amara said. "It was the first time he's smiled since the accident," James admitted. "I don't want a dancer. I want someone who can follow, not lead." Amara saw a desperate father beneath his power. "I can pay you 5 times what you're making." She stood. "No?" James looked shocked. "I don't work for people who see my color or class before my competence," Amara said calmly, "or who try to buy solutions to emotional problems." James flushed. "You're turning down an offer that solves your financial problems?" "Out of dignity," Amara corrected. "Ethan deserves more than someone hired to pretend to care." She placed a card on his desk. "Rhythm of Resilience classes, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 p.m., first class free." As Amara left, Harper whispered, "You turned down James Carter? Are you crazy?" Amara smiled. "Maybe, but I'd rather be crazy than property." The next Wednesday, Lila rushed to Amara at the Rhythm of Resilience Community Center. "There's a Bentley outside," she whispered, adjusting her hijab. Through the window, Amara saw Ethan in the back seat, anxious. James remained in the driver's seat, conflicted. "He's not coming in," Lila predicted. "Men like him don't come to places like this." Amara smiled, recalling Ethan's gaze during their dance. "Don't underestimate a determined son." Ethan got out, adjusting his braces, followed by James in casual pants and a sweater, looking out of place. "I told you he'd come," Amara murmured. Lila stared. "What did you do?" The center's warehouse had handmade posters. "Your rhythm, your rules, and every move counts." Children with mobility devices moved to a light beat. "Mr. Carter, welcome," Amara said, wearing the program's logo. Ethan watched, awed, as a girl in a wheelchair spun and a boy with a prosthetic leg danced. "It looks chaotic," James commented, uneasy. "There's structure," Amara replied, "just not one you recognize." She turned to Ethan. "Want to join?" He nodded, but glanced at his father. "Go on," James said tensely. Lila offered James a chair. "The first day's hardest for parents, not kids." "This isn't therapy," James argued. "I hired the best specialists." "How's that working for Ethan?" Lila asked gently. Dr. Vivian Hayes, a neuroscientist with gray hair in elegant braids, entered. "Mr. Carter, you rejected my research proposal 3 times." "Dr. Hayes, I didn't expect you here," James said. "I oversee the research," she explained. "We study non-directive movement for neural reconfiguration in children with motor challenges." "I thought this was a community dance class," James said. Amara returned. Rhythm of Resilience is a pilot motor rehabilitation program integrating adaptive dance with neuroscientific principles. Why work as a waitress if you lead this? James asked. No funding yet, Amara said. And you rejected us 3 times. Realization hit. You were Dr. Hayes's co-author. Her theoretical work is groundbreaking, Dr. Hayes said. She left her master's to care for Lila. You knew who I was at the restaurant, James concluded. From the moment you walked in, Amara confirmed. When Ethan danced, I saw an opportunity to show, not tell. Was it staged? Number Ethan chose to dance. I chose to follow. Reporters entered. James tensed. What's this? Part 2. Amara smiled. Lila showed a new article. Revolutionary motor rehabilitation shows promise. We published our results today, Dr. Hayes said, and invited the press. You used my son for PR, James said, voice icy. Amara led him to a room with photos of children and progress stats, an empty frame on one wall. Our future, she said. A full center for 500 kids a year, not 50. You orchestrated this, James muttered. I saw an opportunity 4 months ago when you canceled our meeting, Amara said. Lila interrupted. It's Ethan. Ethan was in the center, brace off one leg, balancing alone. He took a shaky step. The children cheered, cameras flashed. James's eyes glistened. That's why we created Rhythm of Resilience, Amara said. It's about first steps on their own. This could have been done without manipulation, James said. If you'd read our proposals, Amara replied. Reporters noticed James. Mr. Carter, comment on your presence here? Your foundation rejected this program 3 times. James looked at Ethan, practicing his step. The hardest thing for someone in my position, he said loudly, is admitting when we're wrong. Silence fell. The Carter Foundation will fully fund Rhythm of Resilience for 5 years and build a permanent center based on Dr. Hayes and Ms. Wilson's methodology, with Ms. Wilson retaining full autonomy. Camera flashes erupted. Lila gasped. Amara tensed but nodded. 3 months later, bulldozers cleared ground for the new Rhythm of Resilience Center, designed with input from children and families. Amara oversaw construction, often with Ethan and sometimes James, who observed quietly. I never thought you'd show up at board meetings, Amara said, reviewing plans. I never thought I'd study neuroplasticity at 50, James replied, holding a marked-up article. Is this penance or care? Amara asked. Ethan asked to remove his second brace, James said. His therapist said it was impossible for 2 years. You fired her, Amara noted, pointing to Ethan's photo with one crutch. She was wrong. Why no apology? Amara asked. You never apologized, James said. You redirected resources. That's compensation. James nodded. Fair. At the opening ceremony, the adaptive space buzzed with children moving freely. Ethan, with a lightweight brace, led a routine with 3 others, his movements confident. James watched, not interfering. He doesn't need you to hold him anymore, Amara said. But he needs me around, James replied. Crucial difference. Thank you, he added, for teaching me to follow. A reporter asked, Mr. Carter, how does it feel to see Ethan's progress? Proud, James said, not of what he's overcome, but what he's created for others. Biggest lesson? True leaders follow when shown a better way. A year later, Rhythm of Resilience expanded to 3 cities. Amara won a pediatric rehabilitation award, her methodology adopted by hospitals. Ethan, using a cane on tough days, enrolled in regular school and became a youth spokesperson, inspiring others. James learned true power lies in stepping back to let others lead. In a world where the powerful rarely shift perspectives and the powerless stay in shadows, Amara, Ethan, and James's story shows transformation crosses invisible boundaries. If this tale of a dance sparking change moved you, subscribe. The greatest revolutions start with an authentic first step and the wisdom to follow.